Hello peoples and popples, and welcome back to my channel. I'm Fiction&Flora. You can call me Flora. This is maybe my 15th time recording this, and this is the take we're going with. This will be the post. Today we're having a B.B.F. If you don't know what a B.B.F is, we are having a bookish bitch fit. It's where I sit in front of my camera and complain about things that mildly annoy me in books. I'm going to try to explain my thoughts, but sometimes it's just a visceral dislike, you know? I don't really have a reason for it, and I can't even, and it's not even a 100% all the time thing, but this is my channel, so I can rant about whatever I want. The first one is reluctant royalty, specifically people who were groomed for like the throne or to be a noble or something, and then at the time, at the designated time that they knew they were always going to have to take up this role, they suddenly are like, oh my god, whatever can I do? I'm trapped. But you're not trapped. You're not trapped. You are literally a part of an absolute monarchy. You are not trapped. What you are is being held to a specific standard, which may or may not be fair, don't get me wrong, but like, you could abdicate, you could give up the throne. And I don't mean like run away in the dead of the night. I mean legitimately abdicate from the throne. Who's coming after you? You've given it up. And like, there are political machinations that could happen that like that make you change your mind, or that you still have to go on the run, but at the very least you have done everything in your power to not do the thing you don't want to do. That's it. I do, however, on the flip side, I'm fine with reluctant royalty when it is something that was thrust on a person where they didn't seek it and they did not grow up with these, but they are the best position that is currently available for, they are the best person for that position that is currently available, and then they just do their job really, really good. I'm super into competence, and like, if it's something that you know you have to do and you know you can't get away from, I love someone who's just like, you know what, I'm gonna do the best that I can so that when I'm done I can cut and run. Ugh, those are my favorite characters. Anyway, we are not talking about things I like today. The next one I don't like, when a main character who we are following, either in first person or in third person, has a dark past that we are not told about. And I understand it narratively, I understand why it is done that way. I just don't like it. Just because I understand don't mean I gotta like it. I don't like it. It's not my, it will almost always negatively impact my feelings towards a book. It might be neutral, but more often than not it's gonna be negative if I am forced, because like, it makes sense if it is a limited perspective, like we are following someone else finding something else out, or we are a very limited perspective, third person. But like, if we are an omnipotent third person, or we are literally in their heads and I don't know their past, okay. I don't like when people who are physically weak insist on being in a battle that requires physical strength. You have no training, you have no idea of battle tactics, you don't know how to safely maneuver around comrades in a fight situation, and you are fighting with trained people, you are arguing with trained people who are here to make sure your plans succeed, and you want to be on the front lines, and you get an attitude because they don't trust that you know what you're doing. You don't know what you're doing. It's gonna work out because it's a book and you're the main character, but you don't know what you're doing, and it's so frustrating as a reader to have to sit through someone be like, you don't think I can do this because I'm a blank? No, you can't, because you don't have the training. You don't have what it takes. You have literally done a training montage that lasted 5 pages. Get the fuck out of my face. Ugh, disgusting. The next one, I don't like the trope of a hidden destiny / chosen one, and I've been parsing out my thoughts around this, because I don't mind a hidden destiny / chosen one if we find out after the fact. So like, they just fulfilled a prophecy but they didn't know about it at the time. It's something about being told you are the chosen one, and not only are you the chosen one, you're the chosen one, and therefore you need to know in order to do the thing that you need to do. If you were really the chosen one, if you were really the one who was meant to do this all along, you wouldn't need to be told, because you would just do it. If the prophecy is real, the prophecy will come to fruition whether you know about it or not. That's the tea. Like, if you were meant to do the thing, you would do it regardless. And if you weren't And so like either it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, at which point anyone they choose who fits the bill kind of would fit, or it's a real prophecy wherein you don't have to work so hard to do it. You don't have to be told you're the chosen one. If they, like, other people can know you're the chosen one, and instead of telling you, just train you up. You just need some training so that you are competent at what you need to do, and then they send you off to do the thing, and you'll do the thing because you were always meant to do the thing, you know? It's just me. The next one is very mild dislike, but it's a dislike nonetheless. I don't like it when romance and a calamity or like an apocalypse or like a war or like murder are mentioned at the same level in a synopsis. Like, that you can't decide between saving the world and fall and the love of your life. Not even the love of your life, someone you love who doesn't love you back. The possibility of the love of your life. As if you can't find another. You're 25, you'll find another one. Also, if everyone dies, he won't be there anyway. So, problem solved. There we go. Situation handled. If the world is ending and your choice is the world ends including the person you want to be with, or you do the thing, do the thing. My next one is that I don't like biological divides, and specifically I'm thinking of like werewolves and vampires. They're like, werewolves and vampires have always hated each other. Why? Explain yourself. For what reason? I just think it's stupid. I'm sorry. Especially when you think about the fact that both werewolves and vampires, depending on your mythology, are created from humans. So it makes more sense for them to be divided along like religious things or cultural things, or like, because you don't lose your cultural heritage or your beliefs just because you've been changed, unless like you lose your memories and like, but all I'm saying is you're gonna tell me that you have these two creatures that both are evolved from one creature and it's just start hating each other? Is there any creature in nature that does that? I don't know. It's just not my vibe. I don't particularly like World War II in books. I'm not the biggest fan of historical fiction in general, but especially World War II. I don't want to read it. The moment I see 1940 anything, I'm stepping out. It's not for me. Related to that, I don't like oppressed and oppressor romances. I don't generally read romance in like at all, but when romance pops up in my book, if it's well written, I'll stand it. But the moment you tell me that the romance is between a fucking Nazi and literally anyone else, absolutely not. You're trying to tell me it's a romance between a slave owner and an enslaved person, and you want me to be like, oh, love conquers all. No, they literally own another person. The other person, if they rejected their advances, could literally be killed or separated from their family. That's not an awe moment. And I'm not talking about dark romances. Those are obviously different. It's a specific subgenre that has to do with specific fantasies. I don't want to hear you talking about exceptions. I'm talking about the rule for me. And the last but not least, one that I will never not hate is the trope of killing the gods, or people who hate the gods, or like you. I personally feel like it is a much more compelling story for someone to be devout and have to scrabble with their devotion to their gods and what it means to be human, and what it means to be a part of a human society, what it means that the teaching of the gods may or may not have been corrupted. Those are much more interesting to me. But the hatred of the gods, I just don't like it. I don't like the hatred of the gods, and like I think it's a very, I guess maybe I don't like the idea of like killing your cultural heritage, but I just don't want to read about someone hating their gods, and I don't want to read about someone who has just decided that the way that their people have survived all of these years is like the worst possible thing. I understand, like, it's like, oh, there's been a sacrifice all these years. What I think would be more interesting is finding out that actually there was no sacrifice to the gods, but actually their village was just killing people because it was population control. Or maybe the gods do accept sacrifices, but these are legitimately willing people who are willing to go. It's not you've been selected out of anybody. It is legitimately a volunteer, someone who wants to die for their god. And depending on who you are, that might sound like the worst thing on earth, but I just feel like it's a much more compelling story than just someone being like, the gods are bad. But that's just me. Anyway, those are just a few things that mildly to greatly annoy me in books. Very few of them are an automatic DNF, except like slave love stories. I'm not gonna read those. I have exceptions to every one of these icks, but you know, I just wanted to rant a little bit. Like I said, this is going to be the one that goes up, so I guess that's it. I'll see you in the next video. Do you have any book icks? Are any of the ones I mentioned actually ones that you really enjoy and would make you pick up a book? Let me know, and I'll see you the next time I post. Bye.